friends. It's Catherine Marcel here, Ascending Earth Creatrix and Spiritual Growth Catalyst. Hello, hello, hello. I'm going to talk to you today about, I tried to condense the title of this, but I really couldn't because I wanted it to be very specific and for you to understand what I was talking about. So I'm going to share this to a couple different pages. Let's see. I'm going to share on my timeline. And I'm going to share it in my group, Ascending Earth Creatrix. And here we go. Okay. So if you've been following me, paying attention to me, listening to what I've been talking about for a little while now, you know that I am teaching Heal, Awaken, Align Bootcamp, which is a 6-week boot camp, and it's called a boot camp because we're working, and we are in a current teaching of it now. We are in week 5. This is a boot camp for spiritual entrepreneurs who want to bring their business from 3D into 5D. Hey Becky, hey Stacy. So we're in week 5 out of week 6 of this course right now, and we're talking about soul-aligned sales right now. The whole idea of bringing our business from 3D into 5D is understanding this kind of underlying thing that's going on, that here we are, spiritual entrepreneurs, spiritual business owners, we are healers, we are coaches, we are mentors, leaning towards the spiritual side of things, and we are doing all this work on ourselves. We are healing, we are releasing at a very accelerated rate so many things, power structures, paradigms, beliefs, thoughts, trapped emotions, feelings that have been part of our identity in 3D for this lifetime and many others, because we're clearing a lot of karmic structures as well. And we're doing all this work on ourselves, we're upgrading our energetic, but our businesses, which are a very sacred and profound extension of who we are kind of staying right where they are. So we're not, I don't really see a lot of other, and maybe they're out there, maybe I'm just not seeing them, but I'm not seeing a lot of other spiritual entrepreneurs out there talking about these kinds of things in the sales process that are coming up and becoming one of the kind of pain points and the opportunities for us to close the gap between where we are in 3D and where we're going in 5D, and how we take our businesses with us. So one of the things we're talking about in Heal, Awaken, Align Bootcamp right now, and by the way, I have the early bird price on that, so if you are wanting to join up in this course, I highly recommend it. There's an incredible amount of valuable content in here, stuff that you're not even thinking about at this time for bringing your business into 3D and 5D, but I'm talking about it, and I'm guiding you through this process in this course. And the early bird is up till September 15th for $400 off the full price. So we're talking about one of the things in our business with soul aligned sales, which is visibility. Okay, so we want to show up in our integrity as spiritual business owners, as entrepreneurs. We want to be able to share the best of who we are with our clients, be able to talk about what we do, talk about how we do our healing processes. And let's face it, there are so many of us now. There are so many spiritual entrepreneurs, spiritual healers who are doing work that seems very similar or very complementary to a lot of other healers out there. But of course, what makes it so unique is how we specifically show up and deliver our services, our offerings, and our packages to our clients. So in that sense, and if you ask me, in 5D, as spiritual business owners, there is no competition amongst each other. There is no competition amongst us, because we're all uniquely delivering our services in a very specific way that has our energetic on it. It has an energetic signature of our very own on it. So what we're doing and what we're offering can never be like anyone else's, okay? So there's no competition in that respect. But one thing that's happening with, and when we come around to this way of thinking, we're okay with being more visible, we're okay with talking about more about who we are and how we deliver our services. But there's an interesting thing that's happening now that not a lot of people are talking about, and because it's not necessarily so new, but it's new enough still that it feels like we're going through the growing pains of this birthing process of a lot of our new levels of gifts and talents and abilities, those things that are innate to us, that are inherent to us as healers. We're reaching these heightened levels of using these abilities, and we are truly being called up by the universe, by this whole ascension process, to bring all of these gifts and talents and abilities to a skill level, to master these, to make them our own, so we own it. So it's easy for us to talk about what we do, to communicate effectively with full confidence in our self-expression, what it is that we do and how we do it, and how we help you to get from where you are to where you want to be. But because of this new influx, or this new level of our gifts and talents that are coming in, there's something interesting happening to us as healers. Because we're dynamically engaged in and actively involved in this process of this up-leveling, this upgraded energetic of our talents, we don't really have a way to talk about yet what it is that we're doing. These gifts that are coming in, these talents and abilities that are upgrading, we don't really have the language or the verbiage yet to effectively communicate what it is that we're doing. Like, there are many women who are in Heal, Awaken, Align Bootcamp right now who are having this dilemma of, okay, I'm all of a sudden like hearing light language and it's coming in and I don't know what to do with it, and I don't know how to channel this, and I don't know how to bring it in the highest and best way. I don't know how to talk about what I do where I feel comfortable talking about it. I don't even know if it's something that my existing clients want to talk about, if they're ready to go on this new journey with me. How do I begin to use this as a spiritual tool that I could put in my toolbox? How do I communicate that when I write a Facebook post that I'm able to do this thing now? How do I compartmentalize this thing that seems very nebulous and expansive and out there and talk about it in such a 3D way as I'm communicating it in a sales call, or I'm communicating it in a Facebook post, or on my LinkedIn page, or on my email newsletter, whatever it is. And so when faced with kind of the overwhelm and the confusion of this, many of us are wanting to shrink back a little bit and just say, whoa, 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 wait a minute, I don't even know what to do with this. And because it feels so big to us, and it feels like there's a lot of unpacking involved before we can begin to talk about it, let alone use it in client sessions and with our clients, we are kind of wanting to shrink away from the responsibility of then using this new tool, because we really don't have a way to talk about it. We don't even understand it yet. So how can we help our clients, even if they're people we've been working with for a long time? How do we help them to understand it? And so it's overwhelming. So we just kind of want to not step up at all. And it's really interesting because some of the sessions that I've had with Rewrite Your Money Story, these are private sessions that I do. They're 75-minute sessions where we take a very, very keen look at the money beliefs that you're holding that are holding you back in your business and keeping you from making more sales. So there is this interesting thing that's happening then. So if you're wanting to shrink away and be less visible, that means you're making less of an impact overall, because you're making less sales. You're not really communicating in the highest and best way who you are and what you do, because either you're in fear of what it means, you're in fear of being judged if you do talk about it, you're even in fear of using the wrong words to talk about what you do. Maybe somebody will get the wrong idea. You'll be judged about, maybe someone will think, oh, who are you, God now? You're all high and mighty, talking about these things, talking about delivering the service in this way, like, who the hell is going to understand what I'm talking about? We tend to go down the rabbit hole with all of these disempowering beliefs then about these new talents coming in. And first of all, I'm pleading with you, don't do this. If this is you and you're finding that this is happening for you, hi Tanaya, hi Beck. If you're finding that this is happening for you, that you have these new talents and gifts coming in and you don't have a way to even make sense of them for yourself, let alone talk about them, you feel like even your closest friends, maybe you have a friend who's also a spiritual entrepreneur, maybe you're not even telling her about this stuff. Maybe you're not even like touching it in your journal work or anything like that. You're just kind of leaving it where it is. I'm begging with you. I'm begging and pleading with you right now. Please don't do this. Because there's a larger thing at work here that we all are involved in and we agreed to basically when we came here. So those of us who are spiritual healers and entrepreneurs, when we were given the opportunity, the invitation to come here to Earth at this time, from the place of our infinite place where our souls reside, we were given the invitation to come here. We knew exactly the energetics that would be at play here on Earth at this time. We knew we'd be entering into an ascension timeline, and that because of our unique gifts and talents, we'd be here to help. So we understood the responsibility of that on an infinite level. So some of us are going through this process of remembering, hi Lamorla, this divine pact that we have to come here and be of service, not in servitude. I got a big talk about that difference between being in service and servitude. We knew we'd come here to be of service. We knew we would bring the gifts and talents, the innate abilities that we have as infinite souls, that every single one of us has, by the way. All of us are intuitive. Everyone has intuition. Everyone has gifts of clear seeing, clear knowing, clear hearing. We work with them on our own unique levels, but we all have these gifts, okay? So we're all special, if you want to say it that way. But we knew that we would be invited while we're here to take these gifts and abilities up to mastery level. That in doing that, we would be able to serve the many. We would be able to serve the collective in greater ways during this ascension process. So us shrinking away and being less visible because we're afraid of what these gifts and talents and abilities now mean and what they now allow us to do and how they now allow us to understand more of the source energy merging that's going on, that we are inhabiting source energy, we are source energy, and we are acting from this place of the God creator mind, the quantum field of mind. I'm begging you not to shrink away from this. So is this coming up for anyone where you have these gifts coming in and it feels like a heightened sense of your abilities, where you don't really know how to talk about it yet? And it feels good. I want to say this right off the bat. It's something that feels good. It feels expansive, not contracted. It feels expansive. It feels big, but big in such a way that it kind of instills you with a little bit of fear, because the subconscious mind is going, wait, this isn't normal. This isn't familiar. This isn't part of our normal programming day. Is this happening for anyone? Because it's definitely happening for me. It's definitely happening for the women who are in Heal, Awaken, Align Bootcamp. And we were talking about this today when we were talking about soul-aligned sales. So understand that this is the next step in us being able to deliver a higher quality of healing services to our ideal soulmate clients. And that the more you get out of this fear of, I don't know how to talk about it, I don't know how to begin to frame a conversation around this in a sales call, please move out from behind that monolith of fear and give the subconscious mind a higher energetic to work with here, okay? Start using some affirmations like, why is it so easy for me to talk about these new gifts, these new levels of my gifts coming in? Start working with your spiritual team. So those of you who like to work with archangels, you have your council of light that you work with. Maybe you work with specific guardian angels. Maybe you work with goddesses, gods, whatever that is, whoever that is. Start asking them, because they understand very much the density of this vibration here and how important communication is on this level. And they understand that we often have a disconnect here in 3D, being able to compartmentalize what's coming in that feels so big, so expansive, and being able to have that filter in such a way that we can talk about it. Okay, so start asking your spiritual team for specific things like, it's really important for me at this time to be at the highest level of service to humanity, to find ways to talk about this, to find the most effective way to communicate this to my ideal clients. Get very specific about how you want this information to come through. If you know that you are more clairaudient, ask that this be sent to you in messages that you can understand with your clairaudience. So for some of us who are more clairaudient, maybe this will come in like a little commercial jingle. Maybe it'll come in the verse or a chorus of a song. Maybe it'll come in by hearing something in conversation that you overhear someone else having, or you're just having a casual conversation with someone you know, someone you love and trust. Be open to this information coming in at any level, though, okay? But ask for it to come in a way that it is the most comfortable and like clearly marked way, so that you know exactly what's coming in, you know what it is, you know what it's for, so that there's no confusion. You get to ask for this. Remember, we are the creators of energy. We are the wielders of energy here. Energy works for us. So we get to design and craft how that energy works for us. We get to give it the vehicle for delivery. We get to decide when it comes in, okay? It's not all divine timing. And when you think about these things coming in for you now, it is divine timing, because we're getting exactly what we asked for when we came here, to be of greater service, to step up and be able to help humanity at this time. So the more we shrink away from being visible, not talking about these things, just like leaving it completely where it is, not even talking about it, not even thinking about it, looking at it, we are really undervaluing our own divinity. We are underserving humanity by not stepping up to exactly what it is that we've been asking for, if we're honest about it. And if you really have a hard time with this, one of the things that I happen to be really, really good about and good with is helping you create a language to talk about what it is that you do, and then craft that into, this is how you bring it into a sales call. So this is something that we are talking about specifically this week in Soul Aligned Sales in the Heal, Awaken, Align Bootcamp. We're in week 5. We've got one more week to go. And then we take a 3-week break, and then it starts up again on October 1st. And the early bird price is still up until September 15th. So if you want to get in on this, please, please, please. Because this is one of the things that I feel very passionate about. And it feels like not a lot of other spiritual entrepreneurs who are teaching about spiritual entrepreneurship or spiritual businesses are talking about this. And it's really important that we talk about this, because if we are hoping to be on the leading edge of being healers and helping our clients who are moving through a very accelerated healing process on their own right, we have to stay ahead of that as much as possible. So if you are marinating in this feeling of, this can't possibly be me, I can't possibly be given this gift at this time, I'm not important enough, this isn't me, this is meant for someone more powerful than me, or meant for someone more special than me, you are denying your own divinity, undervaluing your services and your divine birthright. As someone who came here to be a healer and a way shower for humanity at this time, you are denying your source essence. Stop doing that. Stop doing it. And I want to help you, because I happen to be really good at being able to talk about this stuff and bring this stuff in such a way that it can meet you where you're at. And I can help you craft a way so that you can talk about it so it meets your clients where they're at. Because we are so dynamically engaged in such a healing and energetic upgrading process now that this stuff is just moving so quick. So we don't have time to be marinating in these feelings of lack, or this isn't me, I can't possibly bring this through. How do I begin to channel this in the best way? How do I begin to use this as a spiritual tool? The more we sit and try to figure out all the ways that this isn't going to work and this isn't for us, we could be stepping up and serving so many more clients who are looking for the same answers. If you're just willing to jump in with the faith that it will come in as you start doing this work. When I started doing light language transmissions, I was like, this is not me. I don't know who's supposed to be doing this, but it's not me. Like, what am I saying? How am I using this? And when I started to just jump into the process with full faith and trust, because I kept getting nudges from my higher self and my spiritual team saying, this is for you, this is for you. There's no way for us to prove it to you unless you just start doing it. Have the faith and the trust that everything will come in and make sense and come into place once you start doing it. And so I did. And I just leaped into it, and I started doing it, and I love it. And then a couple courses later, and the Ascended Feminine Initiation is all light language transmissions, 10 different light language goddess transmissions. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. It's powerful. And I had to trust in that process. But I had to take the leap of faith first, and then everything else fell into place. This is part of our call to action, ladies. Okay? So Dana Kuhn says, yes, I don't know how to explain it. I can help with that. We are at such a pivotal point in this industry, in the spiritual entrepreneurship we're involved in bringing our spiritual talents and gifts forward and helping people on their journey of understanding their spiritual gifts and talents and how that helps them expand their experience. How that helps them to understand their own divinity. How can we help our clients do that and hope to get the sales from that if we're not doing it for ourselves, if we're sitting in fear of our power, of our own expansion? So think about where this is killing you as far as your sales too, okay? Because there's so many more people you could be helping. This is your next phase of stepping up. If you are confident and you start owning that this is meant for you, you will be able to communicate that effectively. Your ideal soulmate clients will be magnetized to you. They will have no choice but to work with you because they will see, here's someone who's ready to talk about this. Here's the stuff that's been coming in for me, and I don't know how to unravel it or unpack it or even think about it, and this is exactly what they're talking about. Great. This is the person to help me. Because I know it was hitting me really hard as far as sales until I started to talk about this stuff and bring it into light. So I hope this helps you, ladies. I hope this really hits you where you're at and hits you in the feels so that you start thinking about this and start thinking about ways you can start empowering yourself now by creating some affirmations, asking, why am I so divinely aligned with these new gifts coming in? Why is it so easy for me to figure out how to talk about these things with my clients? Start creating more empowering ways, giving the subconscious a higher energetic to work with, to start bringing in the answers that you're searching for. Okay? And if you need a lot more help, Heal, Awaken, Align Bootcamp. Early bird price till September 15th. And you get a bonus when you sign up of my Heal, Awaken, Ascend library, which has over 140 activations, energy healings, energy attunements, energy flushes, sacred soul alignments, all kinds of good stuff in there. And it's over a $1,900 value, and you get that along with your price of signing up at full price for early bird for Heal, Awaken, Align Bootcamp. Thanks for watching, ladies. Don't be afraid to step up. Don't be afraid of your power.